think really the only useful advice I ever got in terms of, trying to figure out your way into the film business, the film industry, you have to stick to your guns. You have to find something that you can do that maybe other people couldn't do. And even if that seems different or doesn't fit into people's expectations, that's what's going to distinguish it if you can do it successfully.
Coming fresh off releasing his Oscar-winning film Oppenheimer, the legendary Christopher Nolan is eyeing a July 17th, 2026 return to theaters. His next project has been set up at Universal Studios, and in the words of Reaction Joe, we will be seated. What you might not know is how exactly his new project ended up at Universal. And that, my friends, is a story that is worth telling. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Every single time I do a video, either DC or WB related, there will be, without fail, a group of people in the comments section who completely miss the point. Somehow, almost always, it seems like people are willing to give Warner Brothers as a studio a pass. They are willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. And the conversation almost always devolves into petty fanboy war bullshit.
You're pathetically predictable.
This is a big reason why I took a hiatus from making WB and DC related videos for a while. I was simply exhausted by it. I want to make this abundantly clear because apparently it is not. But it doesn't matter who is in charge at DC if there is a fundamental issue at the studio level. It could be James Gunn, Zack Snyder, or even Christopher Nolan himself. It would not matter. WB is the real problem. And all of this, everything that I do here, every video I've ever made on the subject, it all illustrates that the issue is much bigger than Zack Snyder versus James Gunn. When it comes right down to it, I don't give a f*** about that. I care about getting better movies.
It's true.
From day one, my criticisms have remained consistent. I give people credit when they earn it, and I criticize people when they deserve it. You cannot dismiss my opinion with labels, because my problems have been the same since day one. Warner Brothers is an incompetent show that is nearly impossible to save. They have been pulling their garbage for decades now at this point. They now have a documented history of meddling in the creative process, taking shortcuts, and mistreating their talent. And these, my friends, are the issues that bother me more than anything. If you want to focus on fanboy bullshit, then there are plenty of channels for you to go watch those videos and argue in those comment sections. I am interested in getting to the actual root of the problem, and I cannot do that if I'm consistently arguing with children.
I'm hurt and I'm old and I'm tired and I work with fucking children.
How many times have I rightfully criticized WB only to be called a hater, a fanboy, a cultist? Yet you literally have people in the industry who are telling you, not in so many words, that this company is the absolute worst. Warner Brothers has lost control of many situations. They have become reactionary. They are disloyal. And all of this has led to a lot of people no longer wanting to be affiliated with them. It has also led to them being in debt after a series of poor financial investments and projects. And yet still, you have apologists on the internet telling people like me that I'm the problem. How much of a corporate bootlicker do you have to be to not see what's going on here? Everyone tells me that it's going to be different with James Gunn involved, right? Based on what exactly? I have a proven track record to support my claims. What proof do you have that things are going to be different this time around? That James Gunn is going to be left to do what is necessary to fix this problem?
Not a damn thing!
Maybe an Oscar-winning director's actions will be enough to convince some of you that WB is the real problem in the industry. It is now being reported that Warner Brothers chiefs Mike DeLuca and Pam Abney weren't even allowed to read the script for Christopher Nolan's next movie, because Nolan presumably wanted nothing to do with them. Only Universal was given the honor of going through the pages. It turns out, Christopher Nolan didn't even consider WB. For further context, it is also being reported that WB tried enticing Nolan back, including giving him a new 7-figure royalty check for Tenet. So I want all of the WB apologists to answer this question for me. Why now? Why is WB making a play for Christopher Nolan again after dismissing him just a few years earlier? Why wasn't a 7-figure royalty check for Tenet already in Christopher Nolan's pocket? Maybe now some of you can see why he left in the first place.
That makes sense.
In addition to WB wanting to dump his film Tenet on a streaming service, something that Nolan was adamantly against, by the way, one can now assume that he is also not being properly compensated for the work he put in since leaving. WB watched this man walk out their door and go be even more successful elsewhere. Oppenheimer not only lit up the box office, it went on to win countless awards, including the biggest award in film. And only now is WB trying to entice Nolan to come back. Could you be more disingenuous? If it were me, I would have told them to shove that check up their ass as well. WB does not deserve Christopher Nolan because they already had Christopher Nolan and didn't give him the respect he deserves.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Christopher Nolan is the type of director that values artistic integrity and freedom, more so than money, apparently. The one thing more important than money to most normal people in this world is respect. And WB has done nothing but disrespect Christopher Nolan time and time again. Trying to undermine his wishes with the release of Tenet. Trying to undermine Oppenheimer by releasing Barbie on the same day. Going against his initial wishes of not using a carved face Joker in the Joker universe. All of that shit just accumulates and adds up, and I have to ask the question, why would Christopher Nolan want to work with WB again? Any self-respecting human being would do the exact same thing that he is doing now. And I'm still going to get comments on this very video with people saying, oh, you're just a hater. You're just a cultist. All hail Warner Brothers. Please, for the love of God, shut the f*** up. Try using just a little bit more of your brain and not looking at everything through your very narrow-minded view.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Bottom line, I am happy for Christopher Nolan. He deserves peace, and he deserves to be somewhere where he will be appreciated. He deserves to be somewhere where he can showcase his abilities in the way that we know that he is capable of doing. And apparently he found that at Universal, so good on him. As far as WB goes, this company might have some of the fanboys convinced that they're finally heading in the right direction, but I'm not convinced. I'm not going to be convinced until I see actual visual proof that they are heading in the right direction. And empty promises and false facades are not enough to do that.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.